So we're now at lunch. We do have a speaker for lunch, and it's Tim Peoples. Tim is the director of the Purdue Foundry. And the role of the Purdue Foundry is to support technology startups by Purdue University and also by companies, actually. And while we've had a function like this for like several decades, even when I was here as a student, it has really generated incredible momentum, new energy since Tim Peoples took it over. He himself has done 3 startups, and today his focus is not so much about the Purdue Foundry, but the ecosystem which he believes is necessary in order to support startups and help them go to market. We talk about market being very important. So at this point, I'd like to bring Tim Peoples to the podium. Please help me welcome him.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. And in fact, please do keep eating. I know you're on we're kind of on a time crunch to make sure that you can have some lunch, get some calories back in your body so you can get back into the conference and start interacting more. As Carolyn said, my name is Tim Peoples, and the title is really a nice title at the Purdue Foundry, Managing Director. But what I do really at the Foundry is to make sure that the innovators that come in our front door have access to the resources and the networks to be successful. And the Foundry is really Purdue University's Center for Entrepreneurship and Commercialization. We were created 5 years ago by the leadership of President Mitch Daniels, Purdue's president, and the president of the Purdue Research Foundation, Dan Hassler. And their dream and our mission is to assist the Purdue community move ideas to impact at an accelerated rate. So, ideas to impact. And you all, in your day-to-day life, are creating technologies, research outputs, ideas. How do we bring these ideas to the marketplace in a quick fashion to have an ultimate impact in the best way? So today my desire is to really help you as researchers and innovators learn about what we believe you should be seeking in your community to bring your ideas to impact. And the only way I know how to do that is to tell you what we do at Purdue and then allow you to decide what makes the most sense in your community. I was talking before lunch with a number of people explaining that what works at Purdue does not necessarily work in California or Florida. What we do at Purdue may not work for your community, whether you're in Kenya or Pakistan or in Japan. It doesn't matter. So what I want to tell you is what we do and help you understand what I want you to be looking for in your communities to be able to help your innovators, you yourselves, bringing your ideas to the marketplace. So, if you bear with me for a few minutes, I'll tell you about what Purdue does, and then I'm going to transition into how this can be useful to you in your communities. So the Purdue process has really been broken down into 4 phases in which we incorporate 2 6-week cohort-based programs which allows a person with an idea think about what my business could be. And through this process, it's called Firestarter. And of course, it's got this real fancy name of ideation. Well, what it does is basically says, let's figure out if your technology can be a product, and if your product can be a company, and if it can be a company, what is my business model to bring it to the marketplace? Something that all of you, I'm sure, are thinking about. how do I get to market to make a change? The second phase is now that we've built a model or a business hypothesis, and we use something called the business model canvas as a tool to visualize your hypothesis. As researchers, you know that when I have a hypothesis, I must conduct experiments to confirm or deny my hypothesis. In the business world, we call those experiments customer interviews. So instead of going into the laboratory and conducting an experiment, we have our innovators now go into the marketplace and talk to the marketplace to confirm that the problem that you are solving in the laboratory or in the field is a problem that someone really wants to solve. So we talk about what's the problem you're solving, who owns that problem, and are they willing to pay to solve the problem. Now, I've got a shocking statistic for you that says that of startup companies that fail, 70% of those companies fail because they built something no one wants. Let me repeat that. 70% of startup companies that fail because they built something no one wants. That's amazing, right? Look what I've created. I've created this writing utensil. I'm going to launch tomorrow my company. Oops, nobody wants a writing utensil anymore, or there is no market. So what we try to do through our market validation, or phase 2, is push you into the marketplace and validate that this is a problem people want to solve. Along the way, also learn how they're solving it today. How much are they paying for that solution? How do they buy that solution? Where do they buy that solution? Where did they learn of this solution? All of these questions help you validate the business model canvas, which is your hypothesis. Once you've validated that model and said, yes, I truly have a business, then we want you to move forward. But I'm going to pause for a moment real quick and just tell you that there's 7 or 8 entrepreneurs in the room right now that actually got a small taste of our program on Tuesday. And actually, if you're in the room now and you were with us on Tuesday, would you stand up, please? There they are. Congratulations for surviving. I also want you to know that the people just stand up just became experts. And I want you to hunt them down and talk to them about their experience in the Foundry with a snapshot of the programs we put forward. Now, what's unique about our programs is those 2 cohort-based programs is they are easily transferable to other locations. There's nothing Purdue-centric about our methodology. In fact, if you spent several years and got an MBA, what you learn in those 2 years is pretty much what we teach in those cohorts. Now, what we've done is, over the years, is we've partnered with a number of national and international organizations to bring our programs into their ecosystem, to decide how our methodology can be useful in their ecosystem. And we've gone so far as to convert our first phase, the Firestarter, into an online platform, which allows co-working spaces or business incubators or university entrepreneurship programs tie into our methodology without having to learn how to deliver our methodology. And be glad to talk to you all more about that offline if you're interested. Now, Once you've gone through and you've decided you have a business in place, what we want you to do then is write a business plan. And for the non-business people in the room, that's when you groan and you say, I don't want to write a business plan. I don't know what a business plan is. I don't know how. Well, I'll say it differently. What I'd like you to do is sit down and write 20 pages about what are you going to do with your business over the next 3 to 5 years. That's a business plan. All a business plan says is this is what we're going to do. And I want you to put that on writing. Why do we want it in writing? You know, all the sociologists and psychologists have done the studies that show once you've put it in writing, you're more likely to achieve those objectives than if you keep it a secret. So you write a business plan under the mentorship of entrepreneurs and residents in the Foundry. And we have 10 of them. They work 2 days a week for us. They're serial entrepreneurs. So they're the business people from our community that want to help startup companies. In your community, these people exist. In your community, the challenge that you have is how do we find them? How do we bring them into one location and have them help mentor us? They're there, and I'll tell you some ways in a moment how we can find them. Now, once you've written your business plan, we're not done with you. We're going to help you implement your business plan. You've got a business plan. It says, I'm going to do these 5 things. We're going to coach you and help you find the resources to implement your business plan. So that's the process, but that's not the secret. The secret is the network. The secret are the people in this room right now. There are people in this room that I need to meet that know things that I need to know. And I have things that I know that you need to know. That is, talk with my hands. That's the secret. Who in the room knows things that you need to know? And we create these networks through events. Nothing better than food to get people together. This room is a testament to that fact. Who in this room can help you? So we do it a couple of different ways. One way we do it is every Friday morning, we gather at the Foundry, and we have coffee and tea and water. People talk, they share their ideas, and then we have a speaker, someone who knows something you need to know. The second thing we do is once a month from 4:30 to 6:30 in the afternoon, we gather together and we talk and we share ideas. For our Friday morning gathering, usually about 35 to 50 people come. We also do this online. So if you're interested in watching one of our events, I can get you connected to our live stream. Our afternoon activity, people come and go all evening long, and we usually have somewhere between 80 and 90 people up here. So who are these people? These people are lawyers, accountants, manufacturing experts, experts in logistics and distribution, people who have sold something. Many of our scientists here at Purdue have not sold anything. We need to teach them, well, they've sold their grants, I'll say that. We've promoted our grants, but may not have actually talked to someone and said, this is $5, would you like to buy it? We try and teach that to them. And through these networks, we're creating this, I'll use the word ecosystem. We're trying to create this community of people wanting to share ideas and help one another. Creating these environments is what I believe we all need to do in our locations. But I'll go back and say what works at Purdue may not work in your environment. Perhaps Friday mornings is not possible. Perhaps evenings are not possible. But whatever it takes to draw people to one location is what you need to figure out. How can you get those experienced business professionals in the room with your innovators? That's the magic, but that's also the challenge that you all have. Basically, building a network of people willing to bring their knowledge to your innovators. And that's what our events do. In addition, we hold events around the United States about every quarter, about every 3 months. And these events look different. They're usually evening events. Could be in Chicago, Indianapolis, Silicon Valley, Dayton, Ohio, where what we're doing now is we're bringing our innovators into those cities and gathering together, usually 125 people together, to listen to their business pitches so that they can identify in the room resources. Who is in Chicago that can help me with my startup company? The same idea. But what we've done differently here is we are relying on Purdue alumni to populate the room. Purdue has over 400,000, 450,000 alumni. That's a huge network. And they know how to do business. How can we bring to their community our startup companies so that they can identify ways to engage and help? I believe the same is true in your ecosystem. Whether you're from a university or a research center or another organization in your community, there are people that you have graduated, taught, and they have moved on in some fashion. We need to figure out how can we tap into their resources, into their knowledge, because they're walking around our community, our state, our country with their knowledge. We want their knowledge to help our startup companies. And that, I think, is really one of the most important things we do. The methodology, the process, solid, effective. As you can see on the handout that was on your chair, the first 5 years of the Foundry, we were involved in creating 203 startup companies, which is an amazing number, about 25 per year with Purdue IP. And so what we're doing is creating a place for innovators to come to figure out how can I take my idea and have an impact. In addition to starting the companies, because frankly, right now we could go online and create a company for $97.50 with the state of Indiana, and we could claim we created a company. That's not what we do here at Purdue. Here at Purdue, these companies are actually raising money, and in fact, you'll see on the handout that over $270 million have been raised by these startup companies. So someone's interested in investing in them. They've hired over 200 employees, so that's important. And once companies get to that stage, we have a number of other programs to help them. Purdue has the Manufacturing Extension Program, which helps with manufacturing. We have a group that works on something called Strategic Doing, which is software and teaching to help you set goals, objectives, and be successful in your environment. So I think that each one of our communities, everyone in the room, you have the resources. The challenge, and I'd love to say it's easy, but it's not. The challenge that you have is, how do I find these people? How do I get them in a room? And how do I put them to work to help our startup companies? That's the most important thing we do. And what I will say as I close, as I see Carolyn out of the corner of my eye coming in my direction, is that she's trying to keep you on time. That's important. But I'll close with, we've got several strategic partnerships around the world where we have partnered with universities and other organizations, bringing what we have to them to decide how we can build their ecosystem. So with that, I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of your lunch. I see there's some sweets on the table. Please partake. Enjoy the rest of your time here at Purdue. Hopefully the weather will continue to be pleasant for you, and it's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.